Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good overnight, good whenever you're watching the Dan K Show right now, because there is no bad time to pop on the Dan K Show, especially when it's all Dan K, all Lucas J week, baby. We've got a big one. Show number one. Each Thursday over the next 3 Thursdays, we'll be releasing another level of all Dan K, all Lucas J teams. Today, we start with those elite performers, those USPHL elite performers, some of the best performances on the hockey planet. And who else could I talk about elite hockey with than my right-hand man, my consigliere, mon frere from another mare, and a man who watches an unhealthy amount of USPHL elite hockey. We love it. He loves it more than anybody on the planet. Lucas Jones, welcome into this week's show.
Thank you, Dan. You know, I was watching elite hockey and I got an email from a hockey tech person, and they said, hey man, your account's been active in streaming games for about 14 hours. You should probably take a break. Are you okay? Have you been drinking water? And I said, I can't drink water. I don't have enough time. I've got to watch these elite games because I need to figure out who I want on my all Lucas J team.
I got to have more elite hockey, baby. That's all I need. This is going to be exciting. We flipped a coin off the air. We won't do it on the air. No shenanigans. Lucas won the coin toss. He called heads. It was heads. Lucas had the option of selecting first in the snake draft or selecting second. He chose to select second.
Because I am a schemer at heart, Dan, and I have schemed my way to elite all Lucas J victory.
Well, we start in the elite with the coaching staff. And this year, because of how incredible each level's coaching has been, we've added 3 coaches to each roster, Lucas, and it was still impossible to pick. I had to lead things off. I had to pick first. And if I didn't pick this guy, I'd probably get beat up, especially because, I mean, when you win the national championship, when you raise the cup, you tend to get picked first as a coach. This is my coach of the year here in the elite, Troy Schwab of the Charlotte Rush.
Yeah, that's a great selection. He battled all season long, got to the championship, coached his team to a cup. Really great job by Schwabi this year.
This guy's going to be at the helm, and we're going to be trying to put up touchdowns. You want to get to Dan K's heart? Let's score touchdowns. I picked Mike Stanaway in the Premier last year with how great of a year he had. He was scoring in bunches. This year, it's Schwabi who's going to lead my team to offensive wonderland. Lucas, your first 2 coaches here to start up your coaching staff.
Well, so I've got, I think I went to the other side of that championship game, Dan. I've got Jacob Smulovich, a.k.a. Moscow Smules.
Yes.
This is a coach. The rings of the anarchy chant echoed through the halls of that championship rink. He puts a fire under his team skates day in and day out. Love the work he did. And I go to a coach that's been near and dear to my heart for a few years now. Or I should say a program that's been near and dear to my heart for a few years now, and a coach that has certainly found a really, really great niche inside the Dan K Show. On our executive board, it's Coach Todd Wagenbach, the elite head coach of the Rockets Hockey Club. This is a team that was, again, really, really competitive all season long. Get to nationals. He really battled hard, inspiring, excited to see next year with the team that he's bringing back and new players added in.
I'm a little frustrated he got Smules there. I wanted Moscow Smules. I knew you were going to take Wags away from me once I got Schwabi, but I didn't expect you to take Smules there. The Moscow Smules, that's a great pick, man. And what a job with the Colonials team. This is a team that, you know, the boys love playing here. We saw the great Blake Witkowski. We saw the Brody Smojices of the world. An incredible season for the Colonials. Wags, an incredible job with the Rockets. I got 2 more coaches to pick here, Lucas, and I am going all out. I got Jim Raymond with the Jersey Hitmen. Nice. This is a guy who went into a battle with the Rush in this tourney and knew he was in for it, man. He was in for a battle royale. And what did he do, Lucas? Played a lot of defense, a lot of bodies in front of pucks. And then Joe Flanagan of the Northern Cyclones. This is a guy that now moves on to the Palm Beach Typhoon. The Cyclones moving this new affiliate out there down to Florida. He's going to be leading the way with Bay Flanagan, his daughter. And, you know, what a job by Joe Flanagan just all around at the elite level. This is a team that didn't play for over a month early in the year. Before they headed down to Florida, this team that did everything they could to get games in. and they just couldn't. And they finally get down to Florida, and what do? They don't just play well in Florida; they dominate in Florida. They win their division. They go to nationals. They're competitive at nationals, and then he hops on the bench to help out at the Premier side with Coach Wien there in the semifinal matchup. I mean, the guy just knows what he's doing. He's a class act. He understands the game. Flanagan and Raymond, because Flanagan and Raymond are my defensive-minded guys. They're going to be physical. They're going to bring that mindset. And Schwabi's just going to go out there and score touchdowns. So this is it. I need the yin and yang. I think I got it with this triumvirate.
Well, you definitely have a good crew there, but I'm going to add a third coach here that I think is really going to cement my coaching staff. It's Brad Gaylord. Brad Gaylord from the Carolina Junior Canes. This is a coach with over a decade of experience behind the bench, all throughout the game of junior hockey, all different levels of the game. This guy knows what he's doing, Dan, both on game day and in between those games in the film room. Got to have him on my squad.
Guy's super handsome too, man. This guy, he's got that look. He's got the coach look. This is the guy you want on your interview post game. Speaking of interview post game, we got to get to a broadcaster. We got to pick our broadcaster for the Elite. And this is the guy that's going to broadcast these home games for our squad. And who better to broadcast home games for my Elite squad than the incredible Tim Donnelly of the Charlotte Rush. This guy, Mr. Donnelly, let us into the booth, let us work with him. This guy's an absolute legend in a game of hockey. He knows he's forgotten more than I will ever know about this sport. And to listen to the pipes, man, to get a chance to call a game with him, to jump back and forth. People don't understand. I mean, sharing the booth, it's a tough thing to do. Like when you let the national broadcast team come in and take over, like that's a big deal. It's like, think about being a netminder. If all of a sudden just somebody walked into your bench and just said, "Hey, I'm the goalie today." Like, you don't want that. That's my net. That's my crease. That's my home. And Mr. Donnelly, there's so unmatched and unrivaled, man. This guy's an absolute just gem.
Yeah, that booth felt like home away from home, and they certainly made it feel like a family atmosphere. That's what it is over there, right? It's a family up in that booth, and it was so great to be able to talk about hockey with Tim and go through some of the rush and work that game. It was certainly a lot of fun. And Dan, on my side of things, I've got a broadcaster who also welcomed us with open arms into his booth. 8 a.m. game after 8 a.m. game after 8 a.m. game in Hub City, Tampa, and it's Tyler Davey from the Tampa Bay Juniors this past season. What a job, not just as a broadcaster, as a cameraman, as a operations manager for an entire league event of broadcasters. That man, I'm convinced, didn't sleep for 6 weeks, and he still showed up and had a better voice than I did some days. We did a broadcast together. It was a lot of fun. I've got Tyler Davey on my side.
Tyler Davey is an absolute gem, man. And he didn't treat you, talk about family. He didn't treat you like family this past week in our fantasy hockey league, where he just took it to you, man. He almost knocked you out of the playoffs there. You're still in first place, though, holding on to it.
Yeah, it was a bit much, I'd say. It probably didn't need to be 10-1. We went into Sunday a little bit more even than that. And things didn't go too well for me, but I'll come back next week.
Let's move on to owner here. And this is always a fun one to pick. This is, an organization that we've just loved the work of this year. And usually it's one. In this case, this guy had both teams in the championship game. And he's on our executive board for a reason, because we believe in what he does. We believe in the care that he has for his team, for every player that puts on that Rush uni, man. This guy is just a different breed. And Ryan Crothers is my owner, my GM. This guy is an absolute beauty, an absolute stud, man. And this guy went out there and before the game started, before they dropped the puck in the Elite Championship game, this guy, like, he was sitting courtside. He looked like he was the queen at Wimbledon. He's like sitting courtside there, just waiting for this whole thing to end up and see, which side of his organization weighs the cup. What a job by Coach Crothers and owner Crothers and GM Crothers and everything, man. Ryan Crothers, that's my pick.
Well, for my owner here, I've got someone who has been a steward of a program for years and years and years, has created a factory of talent up in Boston. And I've got Peter Masters from the Boston Junior Bruins.
Love it.
The work that Junior Bruins did this past season, the turnaround they had at the Elite and the Premier level, their NCDC team consistently a contender, but just the sheer level of improvement, their Elite and Premier system goes to show you that Mr. Peter Masters has got the brains behind that program. He's building from the ground up, and they are just constantly adding youth programs to that organization.
You could say he's masters the game of hockey.
He's certainly not going to peter out anytime soon.
Put on the green jacket because this guy is a champ.
That's a massive you win. Champ. You got there it. I'll take
it. My best. Now, Lucas, this last award is a new development here with the Dan K Show, and something that we wanted to put together this year. The USPHL has done such a good job this season, not just growing its own league and growing the game for the players within the USPHL, but working alongside the PWHPA and working alongside the women's hockey game to help grow and create playing opportunities for the women's hockey game as well. And with that, we wanted to champion some of the incredible women around the USPHL this season. And with that, we have the senior women's administrator role on our squads here, Lucas, where we are championing these incredible women throughout the game. And I got first pick here. Was it? Or is it? No, this is your first pick. You get the first pick here. Darn it. Go ahead.
Who do you pick? I get first pick here, Dan. And I'm going to have to go with someone who we over the course of the season had a lot of conversations about the operational side of the game of hockey, the details behind the scenes, behind the curtain that really keep the machine running. I've got Julie Crothers as my administrator because, like I said, just it's the details behind the details that she is the master of, and I'm going to need that for my team as we all continue to grow in the game of hockey.
Can I just put this out there? The Julie Crothers and Ryan Crothers now competing against one another with our two all Dan K and all Lucas J squads at the Elite. They're not working together now. This is a competition here. We'll see who wins. My guess is your team's going to win now. I think Ryan would agree with me here. I think Julie wins this one here. That's an easy win. So Julie Crothers, but incredible. I mean, the work that she does behind the scenes for this organization. Every time you see her, she is every role you could imagine with that organization, with the Colonials, with everything that this organization, this family do. The first person we're greeted by every time we walk into a Rush event or a showcase, Julie Crothers. I mean, it's incredible. Everywhere that the Rush go, that she is there doing the real work behind the scenes. And finally, for me, I got a chance to go, this is somebody who's not just had a great season on the bench for the Northern Cyclones and alongside my coach, Joe Flanagan. This is somebody who is going to be making a move down to Palm Beach to work with the Typhoon. So this is a futures pick as well here. I think she's going to have a big role to play down there in Palm Beach. This is Bae Flanagan of the Northern Cyclones, now the Palm Beach Typhoon. She just had an incredible season behind the bench. And you look at this Cyclones team again, it's that family atmosphere. And it's the understanding of the game of hockey and understanding of any growth in the game of hockey is a great thing. And you see what Bae is doing for the game of hockey and for this squad. I mean, the Flanagans just know defense. They just know defense. And Joe's a little more offensive minded. He likes to score the puck a little more. This elite team gets out there and scores, but they just know defense. They've forgotten more about defense in the game of hockey than we'll ever know. And Bae Flanagan had an incredible season.
Yeah, that is I give you credit for your coaches, ownership group, everybody on your side, Dan. I think this is one of those where it's not quite as competitive as the teams we pick because it's really about celebrating some of the best throughout the league.
That's it. And now let's get into it. It's draft time, and you gave me the first pick, and I will immediately call you out because this is a bad decision because Dan K gets his mitts on his top forward line here. We start with the forwards. There will be 12 forwards. We then have a choice of an extra forward or extra defense. We'll then pick 6 defensemen. You could pick your extra forward or extra defense. You only get one of those extras. Then you have your 3 netminders. That is how the roster will be played out. This is tough, man. It takes us forever. Lucas and I have been sitting here for hours picking these things out, looking through the numbers. And it's just, there are going to be people that get left off. There are going to be people who get missed. And I always say it. Let us know, man. Our off-season motto, #outwork everyone. You didn't make it. You did make it. Doesn't matter. The work doesn't stop. Never give up. Never give in. #outwork everyone. Dan K Show. Let's go. And this top forward line is going to outwork everyone, baby. We start at the right wing. It's the little man, Lane Brubaker Egner, baby. The Brubaker, the Brewmaker. This guy's an absolute scoring machine for IHC. He's joined by my left winger, two-time All-Dan KO Lucas J. pick. He was on your team last year. I'm stealing him away. You give me the first pick, I steal him. Ivan Korsak, his second time on the All-Dan KO Lucas J squad. And guess what, Lucas?
Oh, no.
I like this idea of stealing players from you. I'm going to steal another guy you had last year, another two-time All-Dan K team, All Lucas J team member, Ryan Bahula. I'm stealing Korsak. I'm stealing Bahula. I'm taking them back because when we put this darn game into the shell machine, you beat me by a touchdown. So we're not going to allow that again. I'm stealing your players. Brubaker-Egner, Korsak, Bahula, my forwards.
Well, I like those picks, Dan. But now the scheme comes into play because now I get to pick my first two forward lines back to back. You are going to be beating yourself up on this one. I've got a little bit of a smorgasbord of players here, Dan, from all around the elite level. We'll start with my forward line number one. At center, I've got Adam Custable from the Tampa Bay Juniors. An absolute great season, 60 points, averaging over 1.5 per game. You got to love what Custable brought to the table this year. Followed up with Jason Lastra. Lastra tied with Bahula for the top points in the elite, averaging 2 points a game, 9 points in the power play, 5 shorthanded goals. Ty York is my last pick on this top line. And I know Ty York is one of your favorites because you couldn't stop talking about him, and that name just got buried in my head.
And that's a great pickup, man. This is a guy who he's a big-time draft pick heading up to Canada to play the game, man, at the big level. He's a guy who was the MVP of the elite playoffs, man. Raised a cup, led his team to a cup, 8 points over a 4-game span for Ty York. He's just unbelievable. He was unbeatable. He's unstoppable all season long for Charlotte. I mean, Ty York is going to be a name that you're going to hear for years to come. I'm telling you right now, you're going to see Ty York on that. We've talked all year. The USPHL has talked ad nauseum about the NHL Central Scouting List, the NHL Central Scouting List, the NHL Central Scouting List. Look out for Ty York 2-3 years down the road here.
Yeah, 100%. And he's just a phenomenal skater with all-around ability. And for my second line, Dan, I'm going to kick things off with a centerman who does it all. He's played in more games than I can even think of. The amount of games this man has played in makes me exhausted just thinking about it. It's Dominic Balboni from the Springfield Picks. Dan, he's a power play machine. That's why I had to grab him. 8 power play goals, 13 power play assists. On his wings from the Eels, Anthony Zebley. Super impressed by this kid all season. Great skater, great instincts on the ice. And Marco Taffo, a left winger from the Rockets Hockey Club. An assist machine, Dan. 23 assists on the season. I like mixing up these assist players with these balanced skaters. I think it creates a great presence.
That's a great line, man. That's some great picks there. You get 6 incredible skaters, and again, you can't go wrong in this elite. You can pick all day. And jiggity jig, it's Dominic Balboni. This guy was on every top play video made this year by the Dan K Show. He is a top play goal scoring machine. He's a human highlight reel. Great job there. I get forward lines 2 and 3 here now. And this next line, I had kind of an idea. I wanted kind of that yeoman's group here. I wanted the guys who are going to be my workhorses in my 2 line. Centerman from the Charlotte Rush, a guy who's always ready for a little bit of a mix-up. It's James Tilley, baby. Great name, incredible hockey name. Until he scores, man, Tilley never stops scoring. To his left, I got the Florida Eels' Caleb Harrop. And Harrop is just a netminder that, a left winger here that, netminders don't love. They don't want to see him out in the ice. Harrop really can play that sustained game. And what the Eels do so well, and what they've done all year in the Elite and Premier, take early leads, hold on to it. And the way you do that, your wingers got to be involved in the greasy areas. They got to get involved defensively. Harrop not afraid to do so. Finally, a guy who got out of the gates fast. This is a guy early in the year I thought might win the Player of the Year. Cooled down a bit, but still it's such a great season. Has to be recognized here in the top 2 lines of my squad. Chase Williams of the Junior Canes, and this guy is unstoppable.
I really like that Chase Williams pick. Chase Williams and really this Junior Canes team is the embodiment of this grinded out squad, this workhorse squad. I think he embodies that as well. Another assist machine, really good on the power play. I'm jealous of this line you got here, Dan.
Yeah, and you're going to be even more jealous because every third forward line has to be Battle Hawks, baby. Caw-caw! And these are my Battle Hawks. These are my guys, unsung heroes, guys who flew under the radar, gentlemen who needed more looks. That's the group I put together here. And it starts with none other than centerman of the Northern Cyclones, Kanan Stevenson. When the puck's on his cane, man, he is scoring goals. He's a creator, he's a goal scorer, and he's a leader for that Cyclone side. He's joined on the right wing by a man who's cold as ice. It's Brody Smojice, baby.
Oh, yeah,
Of
there
the
it is.
Charleston Colonials, Smojice is a right winger. And you look at the top 20 point getters in the league, and I know we always talk about these. You know, if you're going to build an all-star team, just look at the point sheet and we'll just pick the points. No, I don't like that. I hate that idea. Smojice is just a guy, man. He's a guy down there in Charleston. Coach Smool's relied on him, man. Relied on him, leaned on him all season long. And Smojice got better and better the bigger the moments got. Finally, look at this last skater here on the left wing. I go back to the rush again. But this is a guy who wasn't synonymous with the, you know, you always heard about Ty York, Michael Miller, Ty York. You hear about all these squads, like all these guys out there. Ivan Korsak, like James Tilley. What about Jensen Lopez, baby? On the left wing, I got Jensen Lopez here rounding things out. 20 goals, 26 assists.
Again, another great line. I'm jealous you got Smojoyce. He was an excellent skater all season long. I love that idea, though. And you're right? It's not just going down the points list and picking the first 20 guys, right? This is why we go out and we watch so much hockey. This is why we go out to almost every single rink we can and open our eyes and watch as much as we can to be able to make these picks. You got yourself some good skaters there.
That's why we're worth the investment, baby. Lucas, who are you putting on those third and fourth forward lines here to round it out?
Well, my third line, I'm actually really proud of here because it's going to be Rory Nish, Shu Inamura, and Ryan Kotz. Junior Blades, IHC, Richmond Generals, respectively. These are three skaters I'm really happy to have. Inamura especially, again, assist machine, Dan, 28 assists, 37 points. I love having guys that know where to put the puck, know how to find the open skater. Rory Nish is another assist guy as well. Yep. And Kotz, man. Kotz was just an absolute dominating force.
And he brings that RC like Jen style. He's a grinded out guy. But Shu Inamura for me, that was my next guy. You just took him right off the board from me. I thought I was going to sneak him in there in the fourth forward line. He's just so talented. And you know, he's a Euro 1, a little bit of a veteran here, but 28 assists. And every third line, man, in the forward line world needs that great assist getter. And Inamura is that incredible pick by you. What's that fourth forward line?
So the fourth forward line, I've got great skaters. I've also got a two-time All Lucas J team winner. To start things off with Mr. Luke Havener. Welcome back to the team. We loved having you so much. We're going to Havener you again this year.
Get off the show. That's my thing.
Let's go. After Luke Havener, I've got Michael Bichette and Shane Ziegler. Ziegler from the Hampton Roads Whalers, Bichette from the Bruins. I really, really like this squad. Bichette very quietly had himself a really, really good season for the Junior Bruins, Dan, 34 points in 36 games. So I'm going to stick him with these two guys. And Ziegler was just so impressive, so skilled, and one of those skaters that can just find himself an area of the ice.
Yeah, and the Hampton Roads Whalers would be the first ones to tell you that they weren't happy with their season at either level, the elite and premier. But Shane Ziegler, man, you look at Evan Miles, you look at some of the guys down there in the squad, Patrick Connolly, there's Ty Morton and net, like it was there this year. It just felt like every time the momentum truck would start moving up the hill, something would knock it back down. But Ziegler, man, zigging and zagging for scores. An incredible season for him. My final three forwards. Centerman, IHC, Corey McNally. I like this guy. And you don't want to get like matched up in an alley with McNally, man. This guy will rally to a victory in any situation. And Corey has been good. Boy Meets World, it's more like this Corey meets the back of the net a ton. Next up, we go to Jack Fleer, who's got a lot of flair for the dramatic, man. This guy is a game-winning machine. 20 goals, 26 assists. This guy was all over the ice for his side there with the wonderful Tampa Bay Juniors. And I love the way he plays the game. He's speedy. He's fast. 6 power play goals for him this season. Finally, the last forward here on my fourth forward line. Where in the world is Trevor Carman, baby? Out of the Jersey Hitmen camp, Trevor Carmen, man, this ain't no Carmen San Diego. This guy is incredible. He's a battler, plays it on both ends. When you play for Coach Jim Raymond, I had to get him one of his guys. I need my coach to have one of his boys. And Trevor Carmen was the guy for him this year. Incredible work by him. Lucas, the last question we have. Are you taking an extra forward or extra defenseman? You have to choose now.
I'm taking an extra forward.
Same. I'm going extra forward. I get to pick first, good sir. With that pick, this man, synonymous with success, synonymous with the Northern Cyclones. Mark Giordano.
Nice.
I take Gio, baby. Giordano is always there when you need him. He does everything that Coach Flanagan needs, everything that both Coach Flanagans need with that elite side. This is my guy. He's gonna bring the lunch pail to work. He doesn't care who he skates with. He'll fill in on any line. I'll move him around all day long. And when I need somebody to wake the boys up, this is my go-to.
I love it. And I've got someone similar on my side from the Carolina Junior Canes. It's Ethan Chapman. Chapman is a guy who can just do anything. That's where his success is. He can play on the power play. He can play on the extra man. He can get anywhere he needs to go. 4 game-winning goals in the season. I love having Ethan Chapman as a guy who can just slot in anywhere.
Absolutely awesome. We are done with the forwards. We are on to the defense. Lucas, I pick first. Defense. This is easy, baby. This guy, I'm gonna make his dad work for the team a little bit. He's gonna come coaching the bench a little bit. How about Philip Kuba of the Tampa Bay Juniors? This kid was locked down all season. This kid was a defenseman's defenseman. All right, he's got the ability to score. He can pinch in. He can make the play. But you know what? When they needed it most, this high-flying offensive attack of the Tampa Bay Juniors relied on Philip Kuba. And to join him, his D partner, how about Lights Cameron Williams, baby, of the Roll Gens. Hashtag Roll Gens, hashtag Roll Cameron Williams out there on the ice 30 minutes a game.
I love it. These guys are going to eat up minutes. They're going to play tough. They're going to make it really difficult for me to sort of hit the ice at puck drop with a little bit of intensity. I certainly do not want to be skating against these guys. But luckily for me, I don't have to skate against them. That's why I've got a team around me, Tim.
That's why we draft. We're just the GMs here.
That's it. If I had to skate, the game would not go well. Now for my defenseman, and again, first line and second line I get to pick together. My first line of defense will be Max Toomey and Cade Pollock. Max Toomey, Rockets Hockey Club, had himself a great season, 29 points. And Cade Pollock, these are two, again, guys that have lit up the assist side of things. They're great defensive minds. You've got that RC-like defensive mindset in Cade. I really like these two skaters together.
Incredible picks there. I mean, you really look at Toomey and you see what he did with the Rockets Hockey Club. I mean, Coach Wagg's team, it felt like everything went against them once they got to the Nationals. Like it was such an odd feeling, like a hole in the roof, a late game. Then it bounced back and you play the toughest opponent the next day on your schedule in the tourney, the national champs. Like you just felt like you immediately were behind the 8 ball. You're always scrapping back into it. But Toomey, man, you just always saw max effort at a max. An incredible year for him and well-deserved honor for him and all Lucas J.
Yeah, 100%. I love my defenseman. I love my defenseman to play defense, feed the puck, maybe get involved in the offense occasionally. And that's why I've got these two guys coming up next, because the first one, Oliver King from the Junior Bruins, a little bit more of an offensive-minded. But Dan, my second skater is certainly no diamond in the rough. This guy is a diamond right now. It's Vincent Cartier from the Florida Eels. These two guys provide a little bit more of an offensive look. They're not afraid to get involved in the goal scoring. They've got a little bit more speed, and they certainly love to dish out the physicality. You know what I love, Dan, about this side? I'm always balancing my lines between guys who do take penalties and guys who don't take penalties. A little bit of a mix and match.
I like it too. And, Cartier, man, you got to watch out for this guy.
Yep.
He's so talented. He was on that Florida All-Star team down there in the Hub City, Tampa, that we were allowed to call. It was one of the ones that we were put on. And, you look at it and he's nonstop. He's the engine that never quits, man. This guy's the Energizer Bunny. He's just pounding away at the drum, playing each end of the ice, and the Eels defense this year at both levels was absolutely gorgeous to watch. How about a group now? I go to my Nick and Nick line, I call this one. Nick Jr., Nick squared. Two guys with the name Nicks, and one of them, this guy was a Superman, all right? And that's Nick Super of the Cyclones. I've been watching number 88, man. This guy, the double infinity signs in the back, he is Superman there. He doesn't wear a cape, but he does put on some big hits, some big plays. He is a superstar. If you're a scout, you missed out on Nick Super, you're missing out on a lot. You look at to his right, to his left, I don't care where they play. Let's just put two D-men out here. How about Nikita Medvedev, baby? Medvedev was the Russian rocket for this side with the rush, man. Wearing the Russian red, too. He was wearing the old school USSR look. Medvedev, every time we saw him play, my jaw was on the floor. Medvedev, so stellar. D pair number 3, Luke, is coming up next. But, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't stop Super and Medvedev.
No, these two together are going to be an absolute heck of a line. They've even got the nickname already, right? It's the Nick Square defensive look, and these guys, again, you've managed to put together two guys that really have a good understanding of the game.
Yeah, and you look at it, man. I'm a broadcaster. I'm always looking for the storyline. You know what I mean? So even when we're not winning games, we got a storyline there, Nick and Nick. But we're going to win a lot of games with this squad. Finally, my third D pair. Let's go back to the Eels. I talked about how Florida was the great work of Coach Sanchez with Coach Frankie Scarpacci, with Frank Scarpacci and his whole squad out there in Florida this year, both levels. Ryan Chambray is a guy who, he was just all over the ice this year. A great season for him. I love the work that Chambray put in. And he's going to be joined by toast to this guy, Mr. Cognac. That's Connor Cognac from the Springfield Picks. And not enough said about the Picks this year. This is a team that played up in mass all season long. And, I love the work that they did to continue to play the game of hockey, put a season together, and to have to play similar opponents a lot in the same season, see a ton of the same faces over and over. Defenseman is one of the hardest positions to play in that world when you do it day in and day out. But he was balanced in his scoring, balanced on the defensive end, a real tough player to deal with. This team hits hard. They were a juggernaut when they needed to be. Connor Cognac, your final D-man for Team Dan K.
I love it. You got some real disciplined defensemen in there. Again, guys who understand the game of hockey. Really impressive to watch. And Dan, I think you're going to be a little bit blown away by the impressive stats that I've got on my third defensive line here, because I've got two guys I'm really excited about. I've got Austin Gibson and Terrell Headley. And Gibson's from the Hampton Roads Whalers, Headley from the Islanders Hockey Club. Okay. Headley, again, you talk about a quiet, successful season. 5 goals, 18 assists, 23 points, low penalty minutes. You got to have your defensemen stay out there on the ice. When they take penalties, it makes it that much harder. So I like the discipline of these two. I like the seasons they've put together, and I got to have them as my third line.
I love it, man. That rounds it out. To try to pick 6 defensemen on each side, like you look at the Colonials, a team that was just dominant defensively all year, and we don't hit. I mean, you didn't have enough space. Try to put together a team, and we try to make this a situation where, we're putting the best of the best out there. And I guarantee you, we have missed some names here, Lucas. Yep. And when you look at it, you look even at the forward position, like a guy like Michael Miller from the Rush didn't make a squad. Like that tells you just how good the elite was this year, just how difficult it was to put this thing together. I mean, Michael Miller, the only top 20 point getter, not on an all Dan K, all Lucas J team. And guess what, boys? When you don't get picked, you take it personally. That's what we always talk about. It's that Michael Jordan mentality, right? I take it personally. Remember it. Use it. #outwork everyone. And 3 goalies each. You pick first. I got the forwards and the defensemen first. You pick your netminder first. Netminder number 1. Go ahead.
Well, you want to talk about having to try to figure it out here. I look at what I saw for my first netminder. I went with what I saw in the playoffs. Okay. I'm looking ahead to the end of the season. I want someone I can rely on. And it that's what sort of helped me pick between 2 netminders that had a phenomenal season. Make no mistake, they were right hand, left hand all year. And I had to find a way to differentiate between the two. I went with Brian Brady from the Charlotte Rush.
I like it.
And we had this discussion off camera. We can have it a little bit on camera, a very short version of it. I know the Charlotte Rush, the defense was incredible. The defensemen are so good. Brian Brady didn't see an absolute ton of shots. Yes, he and Cutler were, like we said, right hand, left hand. They both had extremely similar seasons, did phenomenal jobs all year long, keeping that Rush elite squad on the straight and narrow path to championships. But the only differentiator I found, Dan, was that playoff performance that Brian Brady had.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at it, you could say Arlie Cutler too. You could basically call this Brian Brady / Arlie Cutler, but I agree with you. When you got the Nationals, Brian Brady was the guy to lead it all the way. And Lucas, I also make an announcement here on today's show about Brian Brady. Now that we're announcing him on the roster of all Lucas J, Brian Brady completed the triple dip. Brian Brady won the elite, right?
Yep.
He won the elite championship. His squad, the Rush, won the premier championship. Well, guess what? Brian Brady also won the pick'em pool for the Dan K show, beating every competitor. 752 ballots were filled out, and only one man had 24 of 26 possible points. He got one pick wrong throughout the entire tournament.
My gosh.
Brian Brady.
He beat us
Star
as well.
of the game. He was an MVP. He's a champion. Now he's a three-peater.
Well, Brian, we'll be reaching out shortly to get some contact info from you to send you some Dan K Show swag. Congratulations on the triple dip.
Triple dip. Hashtag triple dip Brian Brady. The Brady Bunch. Talk about the Brady Bunch. We talk about a guy now that faced a bunch of shots. All right. And there's a lot of guys you could pick out here and number one for my netminder. But I look, Lucas, at these stats from Jake Romney of the Boston Junior Bruins. This young man faced 953 shots. That is 16 less than the goaltender with the most shots faced, and 15 less than the goaltender with the second most faced. He had the third most shots faced in the league. Okay. Neither of those netminders were above a 990 saves percentage. Neither of those netminders were below a 4 goals against, because that's an insane amount of shots to face in the season. It's tough, man. It's difficult. It's tough to be a goaltender when you're facing a ton of shots. Mm-hmm. Jake Romney had the third best saves percentage in the league while playing twice as many games as the number one in front of him and 10 more games than the number 2 in front of him. And he was just 0.02% behind the number one saves percentage. This young man was unbelievable. 3 shutouts, a 279 goals against, 70 goals allowed, facing 953 shots. He went 14, 8, 1, and 3, and revived the Boston Junior Bruins elite.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great looking pick, and really what a job all season long. To grind out a season like that and be as successful as he was is truly impressive.
And Lucas, I mentioned there was somebody 100% in front of him on the best saves percentage. And I really love saves percentage as a stat. It's something as a scout here, when you're scouting net minding and you have to do it blind, it's the best way in my mind to really look at the success of a netminder is to look at the shot totals compared to the saves percentage. In this case, Mike Varvaris of the Islanders Hockey Club, 14-3-1-0. They leaned on this netminder in the big games, hit a 928 saves percentage, a 275 goals against, 2 shutouts for him this season. This guy was just so stellar all year long. When the moments got big, Varvaris got bigger. And he's a 2-time All-Dan K team member, Lucas. Second time Mike Varvaris has been picked by yours truly. Tells you a little something about him. Scouts, look at Mike Varvaris' tape right now.
Yeah, certainly deserves a look. The work that he did with the Islanders Hockey Club this season was so incredibly impressive. The consistency is what you love the most, right? It's that consistency of day in, day out, always being successful. And Dan, consistency is a little bit of a segue into my final 2 goaltenders here. Start with the first one. From the Carolina Junior Canes, it's Jackson Verska. And the reason I went with Jackson, one of the things I love about the Junior Canes is the way they play defense in an offensive division. They really know how to battle and win close games. And Jackson was right there every step of the way. 218 goals against, a 920 save percentage, facing a ton of shots. But when you play on a team that has such a tight goal differential like the Carolina Junior Canes do, your netminder is all that more important. So I'm taking Jackson Verska for his ability to stay in and win in close games.
I love it. And Verska, this is a versatile netminder, right? This is a guy who he fits my criteria, right? A 921 saves percentage, faced over 500 shots, has a shutout to his name, 15-3-0. Like, I'm going to Jackson when I need a big win, and that's what the Junior Canes did all year.
Yeah, and another netminder, certainly no stranger to big situations, is Connor Vitans from the Northern Cyclones. Again, you want to talk about someone who's consistent, someone who's put the work in, someone who's played in that position. He's an 0-1 with a lot of, I think, still, a lot of talent, a good future in the game, and I think Connor Vitans definitely deserves this.
Great pick. Cyclones, I mean, this is at the elite level. You always talk about defense with the Cyclones. This team doesn't play as much defense in the elite. They get out there. They'll take some chances, and they'll leave Connor Vitans out to dry once in a while when they're trying to get a goal on the board. And Vitans steps up big. He plays strong, and he made some big saves. 907 saves percentage, 219 goals against, 14 starts for the young man. Good year for him. And you put me in a terrible spot because there's one player left to pick on the All-Dan K, All-Lucas J teams. One player left. And it's going to be a netminder. And you look at it, I could go for Arlie Cutler. I could go for Jaden Lee of the Richmond Generals. I could go for Jacob Mork of the Florida Eels. I could go for Evan Spinella. What a season for him. He tapered off of late, but he was incredible when he was locked in. Ty Morton's a guy who I've picked before in the All-Dan K, All-Lucas J dress. But I have a little story with my squad. I've got the third best save percentage. I've got the second best save percentage in the league. And now I got Hulkamania, baby. It's Hogan Nelson, one of the greatest first names on the planet. Hogan was hulking out on goal scorers all season long. He started 12 times for the Richmond Generals. He had 4 shutouts. 33% of his starts put a goose egg up. 10-1-1, only lost once in regulation. A 1.74 goals against average, a 929 saves percentage, which was the best saves percentage in the league. Of course, a lower start total than some of the other contenders, but you look at the goals against average, Lucas, and it was 25 plus under. So what was it? Oh, I got to do math now. Oh, no, here we go. Live math with Dan K. 0.32 goals a game less than the second place contender, Arlie Cutler. And, you see Jaden Lee. This is one you feel like when you picked Brian Brady, you could also pick Arlie Cutler there. This is a situation I picked Hogan Lee, and I could easily pick Jaden Lee. You can't go wrong with Generals netminding.
Yeah, Hogan Nelson. Hogan was a hero when he was on the ice for his team. And look, you can have this discussion about, he didn't play as many games or didn't see the amount of shots too. But you know what? When he was in net, he was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And that's got to be the bottom line, right? It's you're not picking a who's played the most award, right? It's you're picking an all-around, all-Dan K, all-Lucas J team. I really like this pick of Hogan Nelson.
What an incredibly tough task this was. I cannot believe we have to do this for the premiere next.
No way. I don't want to.
There's so many teams. There's so many incredible players. We are going to upset a lot of folks. But if you are upset, reach out to us. That's the Dan K Show. That's at @the_Dan K Show. Because what this is about is you, the player, and the parents at home. It's the customer. And that's why it's player first. And I remind you, again, if you haven't been picked, I was a guy, man, who every time, I still remember being put second on the preseason All-American list my sophomore year behind a freshman who hadn't played a game yet and wondering, okay, how did I not earn that spot? And I used that, man. I had it above my bed. I had it on my wall. I had it on the door leaving my room. I had it on my computer. I had the article there at all times up and running. Everywhere I turned, I looked and I saw that name, and I knew that I would not allow myself to be outdone that year. Do not allow yourself to be outworked. Hashtag outwork everyone is that motto, is that mantra. Congratulations to all of our All Dan K and All Lucas J team members. You want to talk to the Dan K Show, you want to hire the Dan K Show, go to www.dankshow.com/contact us, or you can just go to contact us on the Dan K Show website, or reach out to us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at @the_Dan K Show. Lucas, your parting words for your all-star, all Lucas J squad. Well put. Well put. Dan K, Lucas Jones, congratulations again to all our players again. To the guys who weren't picked, might be even better for you. Use it a little bit. Use it. Build that fire. Grow that fire. when Dan K is on the mic, it is always hockey night. Next Thursday, the All Dan K and All Lucas J Premier teams coming at you.